So at 3 a.m. I pretty much knew I was not going to be continuing the next day. This is what I like doing, so why don't I like doing it right now? So, it has been a few seconds for you, but maybe 3 or 4 days for me, because the next day I bailed out of the trail. So that night it was raining, which is fine. At this point, this is the second night I've been at the hut, as you saw. And I was on the fence about it. I wasn't feeling good. 5 ladies showed up at the hut, and they were just great. They were one big family. And it was just me and them last night at the hut, the last night. And it was really good. They were great company. They made me feel much better. And then at that point I thought, oh, if it stops raining, you know, I could probably carry on. The forecast was that that day was going to be the worst of it. And so at this point I knew I wasn't going to be finishing the track. And that was disappointing, because if I took a 0 day, then I wasn't going to be getting out in time. I'd already had a few huge days planned, so I don't think there was any way I could have made up the distance. So knowing that I wasn't going to finish, even though it was disappointing, honestly, like, the thought of continuing more so, like, with the stress off, like, motivated me and lifted me up, rather than this huge thing just like weighing me down from above. And so I was feeling pretty good about it. And then the thunderstorm hit that night. So we're all lying in bed, it's like 3 a.m. and there was just this thunder and lightning storm. It was right overhead. It was loud. There was 0 time basically in between the thunder and the lightning. And it was pissing down. Pissing down. And the weather was forecast to be bad, but from when I went in the track, the day that I had just spent was meant to be the worst of it. And so at this point I thought, it wasn't forecast for thunder and lightning that day, it was meant to be 2 days after. And I thought, the forecast has changed at this point. It could just keep raining, and I've got river crossings coming up on my own. So at 3 a.m. I pretty much knew I was not going to be continuing the next day. I didn't want to hit those water crossings on my own. I would have preferred to hike out with this group of 5 so that I wasn't by myself. And then I woke up the next morning, could have made an attempt to pack up my stuff, but it was still pissing down. And I was like, okay. And I whispered to one of the ladies, can I walk out with you today? She went, yeah, of course. And we had a really good day. We hiked 5 hours out to the Whakamaramara road end, and thankfully they had 1 spare seat in their car, so they gave me a ride up to Bethlehem, where I called my dad and he came and picked me up. So I was just sitting outside of a supermarket with a Coke Zero, looking rough. But no, so it's very disappointing to get out there and just have like a bad mindset day and not really be able to recover. Oh my god, it's a tree. And especially because it's like, this is what I like doing, right? Like, I planned this for so long. This is what I like doing, so why don't I like doing it right now? And it kind of sucks to think about that, but at the end of the day, you know, I didn't want to do those river crossings on my own. I felt uncomfortable about it, and being alone with my self-doubt for so long, I think it sucked, because I was like, I feel like I'm proving those self-doubts right. And then everyone I told that I was going to go do this track, you know, when their reply was like, oh, that's a long time, like, I felt like I was proving them right as well, because it was obvious that, you know, they doubted me. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm doing like a little redemption track now. It's like 4 days later. I'm just heading out for fun, and I think that's all you can do. So I feel like I'll get him next time. And I feel like also another random thought is that I feel like also when people say to me like, oh, you're so brave and, you know, but like, you're so, you know, adventurous or whatever. I think once you do a night in the backcountry in a hut, you do kind of realize that there's different levels of adventurous, and what I do is really on the lower end. You know, like sometimes I just walk out 3 hours, spend a night in a bunk room and walk back, and I completely agree that to a lot of people that is really adventurous because they've never done it before. But I think the main thing is that even though I essentially failed and didn't do what I wanted to do, like, that's okay, because I'm also not the most adventurous person. Like, there are people that go and spend nights in a tent on the mountain in the blizzard, and might be me one day, but it's not me right now, and it doesn't have to be you either. You know, you can just do what I did. You don't feeling it, you're not feeling it, you don't like it, just don't do it. So I feel like you can do it too. There's nothing really to be ashamed of if you don't make it. And I don't even know if I'm going to post this whole trip, but I wanted to do an outro just in case I did, because that might be the only reason that I end up posting it, is just to reassure other people that sometimes it doesn't work out for anyone.